What's up, guys? My name is Rochelle Gone Rogue. Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and go ahead and hit that like button so you can join the family. This is my baby Diamond. She's a 2.5-year-old standard poodle, and in this video I'm going to be talking about how I traveled with her to Mexico in the cabin of my plane and the process getting there. Okay, so stay tuned. So when it came to getting my emotional support animal in the cabin with me, it was a fairly quick process. It was a fairly easy process. I flew with American Airlines, and I feel like American Airlines is one of the most pet-friendly, ESA-friendly airlines that you could find. And lucky me, it was really the only airline that flew from Phoenix to Mazatlán. One thing that I also wanted to cover was how I got her registered as an emotional support animal. I am not encouraging anyone getting their pet registered as an ESA animal just so that you can get free things and free benefits, because that is fraud. But I will say that the whole term, it's very broad, and I think that all pets, most pets, are emotional support animals because they help support their owners, or else their owner would have never gotten them. I do think that a lot of people could fit under that criteria. So I would recommend you look up the ESA requirements yourself, schedule an appointment with your primary care provider, and then if you have previous history of maybe certain mental illnesses or certain anxiety or depression or anything like that, then they can write you an emotional support animal letter right there on the spot. If you don't have any previous history, your primary care provider may want to do an evaluation to see maybe where your mental health is at, and then you can just go in depth saying that how an emotional support animal will benefit and improve your mental health. So for me, it was pretty easy, especially because I was active duty military at the time. I was just in and out in less than 5 minutes, and it's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Everybody's situation is different. This was 2.5 years ago. I don't know anything about doing that during the pandemic. Okay, this is one thing I want to explain to you guys. Most airlines see emotional support animals and service animals on the same playing field. Okay, I understand that, technically and legally there are differences, but airlines see them on the same level when it comes to fees and when it comes to processing, for the most part. Now, for me, because I had an emotional support animal and not a service animal, even though the airline actually processes everything the same way, I had to submit more documents for my emotional support animal. And it was basically a letter from the vet stating that it was up to date with its rabies and it was in good health. It was a letter from my doctor confirming that, I was able to have an emotional support animal and it was able to fly with me. And also I had to sign a letter for myself stating that my dog had good behavior and I was going to be held accountable for anything negative that happened. Now, this is the tricky part. I found a vet to look at Diamond. No problem. It took me like maybe an hour. I had to call a lot of places because, they were booked out, but it took me like maybe an hour to find a vet for Diamond. I could sign my sheet stating that, she has good behavior confidently because I know she's very well behaved. That wasn't a problem. Getting the actual doctor's note in the middle of a pandemic was a pain in my ass. Because one thing also that I'd like to add is that if for whatever reason your doctor cannot sign American Airlines specific document, you can replace that document with a letter that they had given you with your emotional support animal letter. Okay? American Airlines has a document that they would prefer for you to fill out, and they would prefer for your doctor to fill out. But if you're unable to have your doctor fill it out, you can replace it with the emotional support animal letter. The emotional support animal letter that you submit, if you have to submit one, it has to say everything that's on the American Airlines document. I remember for me, there was like one sentence missing And it wasn't even like a important sentence. It was a stupid sentence in my opinion. It was a very stupid sentence. But they wouldn't accept my doctor's note because that sentence was missing. So I had to contact the office, have them update it, send it back to me, and then when they send it back to me, I resubmitted all my documents. Then they claimed again that her license, I guess, was not within a year before it expired. So I had to send it back to them, have them update her actual stamp and her license information and on the letter, and then that's when they accepted it as I guess deemed worthy for them in comparison to their American Airlines document. So that was a little bit stressful because I got pushed back like 3 times before. And I was just like, okay guys, like my flight is like less than 48 hours. Like, can't keep pushing it back. Don't have enough time to, I was getting a little nervous. But oh yeah, that's another thing. For the American Airlines flight, these emotional support animal documents have to be submitted within 48 hours of the flight, because they actually have to process your documents and assign your dog a service animal number, an American Airlines service animal number. That will also go on your boarding pass and that you will use to, travel. And the American Airlines emotional support number that they're giving you is going to be valid for 1 year. So if I were to fly American Airlines anywhere else, I wouldn't have to register her or anything. Me and her just hop on the plane for 1 year. So that's convenient. I think that's the least they can do for all the stress I was under. So now I want to talk about the actual check-in process. The check-in process for me was a little chaotic because in good old Rochelle fashion, I got to the airport late. And I don't even really think I was doing it. Oh, I was being extra. That's why I was late. I was being extra because I guess I wanted to make a statement to myself and to the world and to the universe that I was, starting a new chapter, and I wanted to show up in the country looking all nice and presentable. But I almost missed my damn flight, trying to do my hair, makeup, and get dressed and look cute. And also I was still trying to pack and get my suitcase perfect. Y'all, the max weight for suitcases for American Airlines is 50 pounds. And when I put my suitcase on that scale, do you know that scale said 50.00? Woo! I made it by the hair of my chinny chin chin, y'all. Whew, I was so happy. I couldn't believe it. I made it like on the dot. So yeah, I'm just saying that to say I actually had to stay up and get up really early because I had to make sure all of my suitcases were together. I had like 2 check-ins, a backpack, and a purse, and diamond. So it was a lot. It was a lot, but not enough at the same time. But yeah, so when I checked in, when you check in with the service animal, you cannot just go to the kiosks and get your boarding pass printed. They have to physically see your dog. So I had to stand. I was going there with the perception that maybe I could have just went to the kiosk, but this line was so long, guys, and as soon as I saw that line, and as soon as one of the employees told me that I had to stand in that line, I got so nervous. I was just like, oh my God, I have to stand in the luggage line. I'm about to miss my flight. Like, I'm about to miss my flight. I was already trying to come up with a plan B, plan C, plan D. It was like, I really thought I was about to miss my flight when I got in that line, but it only took like 20 minutes. And then after that, I went through security. We just walked through security, and it was pretty straightforward. She had a little fan club, in the line. There were a few people that liked interacting with her. She was actually like a superstar in the airport. Like, everybody wanted her attention. The security process and the check-in process was pretty easy, pretty straightforward. And afterwards, I just had to sit in the, sit in the lounge for about 10 or 15 minutes before we started boarding. When we got on the flight, the same day as my flight, I had gotten an email stating that my seats were switched. and I didn't really understand what that meant. But they had American Airlines switched my seats so that I would have more room for Diamond, which I was really grateful for. But there was a little bit of confusion, so I had to switch seats with a couple other people. But other than that, I was really glad to have that little bit of extra space. And Diamond did very well on the flight. I'll try to include some footage here. Oh, baby's doing so good. My baby's doing so good. And I was really proud of her. And after the flight, there were people that were coming up to me complimenting me about how good she did compared to their dog and how calm she was. And Diamond did amazing. I gave her a big treat, a huge treat later on. And that was pretty much it for the flight process. She did extremely well, and she was on her best behavior, and she made mommy's life a lot easier. Also, the documents. When I landed in Mexico, everyone had to go through customs and everyone had to go through the visa process. And when you land in Mazatlán, you have to go to the vet. You have to go to, I think it was like animal service vet, in Spanish. There was a sign that said that. And you had to take all the rabies documents. You had to take the boarding pass and all of your animal's documents to the vet so that they can write you a piece of paper, and you take that piece of paper and you give it to the man in customs, and I guess that's their way of processing your animal through, and you get to keep a piece of paper as well. But I almost forgot about that part. But then I walked out of the airport and it was done. It was easy breezy. So yeah, the process was super simple for me flying with American Airlines, but every airline has different criteria. Every airline has, it's different levels of strictness when it comes to flying with emotional support animals or service animals. I hope this video did help you to some extent, and you can comment below if you have any questions. All right, thank you for watching. Peace.